Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and today we're at a town called Port Pirie, 3 hours north of Adelaide. It's a small country town famous for the industry. Behind me you'll see a lead smelters, and that employs lots of people and creates pollution, which is an issue for this town. But what's amazing to me about these small country towns is their diverse range of activities they have for communities. So here the archery club, and we're going to show you through the archery club and show you some of the people in the archery club. But right next to us there's a go-kart track, a race car track, literally any sport you can think of is here in this town, and it's a small community, like of 13,000 people, where in Adelaide you've got like 2 million people, and it's very hard to find, like, you know, where's the local croquet club, where's the local go-kart club, where's the local racetrack. It's like we don't have any, and we're a huge city, and this small country town has everything. And it's got a community spirit where the community all jump in and help each other, and I want to sort of show you how that works. And to me, this is what makes archery great, and it's what makes it worthwhile to come and see these clubs and meet these people, because it's just completely different to a city area, and just get out to the country and have a look. So let's go and look around the club, and we'll show you sort of what they built and what they're doing, and show you some of the people. I'm with Blair and Chelsea. Now these are two local archers here, boyfriend, girlfriend. Yeah. And what's amazing to me, now Blair's been shooting, when did you start?
5 years ago.
5 years ago. So Blair's 18 now. Yep. So when he was 13, so when he was little, I remember him coming to my shop, and his dad shoots, now his sister shoots, girlfriend shooting, and it's like the whole family gets involved except for the mum. And to me it's a really good thing. I just want to enjoy about a shop, because I see people start off, and you know, Blair used to send me messages, what am I doing? He'd send me videos of him shooting every night going, what am I doing? I want to improve. And I reckon this weekend he'll probably beat me, right? So we'll see, but I reckon he'll probably beat me. So he's shooting really, really well now. So what sort of scores are you shooting now at indoors?
Indoors, 296s.
So 296 indoors.
I shot my 300 a couple of weeks ago.
So he's already shot 300 now. I've shot 2 300s in my lifetime, including practice, and he's already done it. And that to me is awesome. Now, what's your highest indoors?
240.
260 shot last night.
Oh, 260.
240 I shot last night.
Oh, 240. So you've been shooting for how long?
A year.
1 year. And you've got a PC Stinger, and you've so what did you start at? When you started shooting, what sort of scores do you shoot?
100s,
yeah.
200?
100s, 200s. So the improvement, you go from 100s, 200s, 240s, and then eventually go, well, I want to shoot a 250. Archery to me is not about whether Blair beats me or whether I beat him. It's about how you compete against yourself. And to me, that's awesome that people are improving. And Blair shoots a pretty similar score to his dad, and his dad's improved out of sight. Like his dad shot yesterday out of 900, 886.
886.
Like a huge score. I haven't shot that score. And to me, that's awesome. You see the improvement, you see how happy people are shooting. Now we're at their indoor range here. Now the club built this, and I want to show you these targets, because these are awesome. They're bits of foam, and behind they have these packing bales. And this here is C-channel, which is holding the foam in place. So it's really cheap. These bits of foam cost the club, I'm going to say $80 now. I give them to the club cheaper, but $80 for a bit of foam. And these bales behind, they don't cost the club anything, $6 a bale. So they've got an indoor range here that they've built, which basically costs the club hardly anything. The shed was donated by McMahon's. So this was a shearing shed or something, wasn't it?
Shearing shed out by the abattoirs, old abattoirs.
So the club members get together, they cut down the shed, rebuild the shed here. So there's about, how many people did it?
Probably 15, 16?
Yeah.
15 or 16 people from a small country town get together, rip down this big shed. So it's about 30 metres long by about 14 metres wide.
30 by 18.
So 30 metres long by 18 metres wide. They get together low cost and put this together, and to me that's awesome. Now this does not really occur in city areas because everyone's busy in the cities. It's hard to get stuff like this, and it's hard to get people involved. And it's very hard to get people involved at club level. So to me it's really, really awesome. So thank you, Blair. Thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah.
Thank you, and best of luck today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You too.
So as I said, today we're here for the Christine Player shoot. Now Christine was one of the original founders of this club, and her husband was president of this club for, I'm looking on the board and I'm going to show you that, for many years. So an early member of the club who's passed away, and her son now shoots in the club and has been state champion, so hopefully we'll meet Greg. But behind me is the board of everyone who's won this event. Now obviously you've got to be female to win this event, unless every person who's won this event is female. I'm assuming you've got to be female to win the event because every name up there is a lady. So they put the year they win, the club they shoot at, and the score they've shot to win this event. Now last year there was COVID, so there was no winner last year. So this year we assume another lady, whoever shoots the highest score, will get their name added to this board. Now this board is their president list and their committee list, so you get to see who's been on the committee, and to me that's really cool because it's a recognition of the work that the people on the committee put into the club. So I'm just going to go to the old board. This board goes back to 1990. So this board here, 1990, and up the top here you'll see P Player, and he's president for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. So I don't know how many years before that he was president. But you'll see the names remain pretty much the same. It's in a club scenario, the presidents and the committee tend to be the same because most people don't want to step up and take roles of responsibility on. So if you're in a club and you want to, put some effort into it, you want to make positive impact, I fully recommend you get involved. It takes time, but the rewards are really worth it, and you can see over time the changes you've made. And with this club in particular, you can see the changes they've made in the number of years. But I'm going to go back to 1990 when Greg's dad was president here. They recall building this clubhouse here that you see, and to me that's just awesome because it's all community involvement, people putting in time to get this club up and running, and you can see the success it is today. So behind me is the Port Pirie Target Club. So they have movable targets. They've got 15 targets, so you shoot about 4 people per target or 3 people per target, so you can cater for around the 60 odd people here. Now there's a reason they can't go out further, and that's this bank here. And the reason they have this bank is to keep the water away. So when there's a high tide, so this is basically sea level where this club is. When there's a high tide, the water comes up to this bank. So I'm going to show you their field course. So their field course literally gets flooded if there's a king tide, which is a really high tide. The water sort of comes into this area, which is good and bad. It's good because this ground can only actually be used for something like archery. So it's not used suitable for housing and stuff like that. So, and I think there used to be a slag pit here. So they used to dump the waste of the old smelters on this sort of site here. So, and then they've put dirt on top of it. So it's not suitable for housing. So basically the club has, I think, 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers of site given to them. Very awesome. So behind me is the site for Port Pirie's Field Club. Now this is a flat salt plain, basically sea level. So to create some hills, they've made banks and they've put targets on it. So the slopes are not great, but it gives club members a field course which is close to the club. So you've got target, you've got indoor, you've got field, and I'm going to show you the clout range. So over here, which you can't really see, it's flat. So what they've got is they've marked out a clout distance, which is 180 meters from start to finish, and they've made a target in the ground. So that way the club members can shoot clout. So they have every discipline of archery on this one site. It was extremely cool to me that you're a local archer. You've got access to everything at the one club. So that's very, very good. Okay, I'm with Greg Player. Greg's this giant, obviously against my size. Now, Greg is the son of Christine, who this shoot was named after. And his dad was president for how many years?
7.
7 years. And Greg's got stories about growing up as a child in this club. And that's the one thing I love about archery, the whole growth of the sport and people coming into it and staying with it. And Greg was telling me about, as a child, him sort of standing on a mound over in the corner there and shooting arrows as a kid. So how old were you when you started, Greg?
So the club started here when I was 7, and so I was shooting when I was 7 over at the 20-metre line.
So 7, you were here.
Yeah.
But the club was somewhere else before that, wasn't it?
Yeah, on the other side of the ranges at Rabra.
So, and your parents started that club?
Yeah, there was an ad in the paper. So go back a bit more. When my mum was a teenager, she shot at the Port Pirie Archery Club. And in the 60s it ended up.
So your mum's how old when she starts?
Oh, she would have been a teenager.
So she's shooting.
60s.
So she's shooting recurve.
Yeah, yeah. And then, like, she'd tell me they used to use tape with a bobby pin for a sight, and you just pull it in or out to like left or right, and poke it in a different spot for different meters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So your mum in the 1960s shooting recurve. Now I had one of these. So it was a basic recurve. You stuck sticky tape on the front with a little bobby pin.
Yeah.
It was so basic. It was, and we shot pretty average. So your mum's shooting as a teenager. Then she took a break.
Yeah, the club closed.
Oh, the club closed.
Yeah, and back in them days it wasn't easy to get to Adelaide. And then when I was born, roughly, so about 84, there was an ad in the paper of people wanting to start an archery club on the other side of the hills at Rabra. So mum and dad went over, and that's where Rocky River Archery Club.
So how old's your mum at this stage? So you're 7.
30s.
So your mum's
early 30s.
So she'd taken a break for a number of years, and your dad hadn't shot.
Never. Yeah.
So they didn't meet through archery, because lots of people meet through the sport.
Yeah.
So you're 7, and then they get started again.
No. I was a little fella then.
Yeah, 7.
No. 7 here.
Oh, so you're like
little fella. So I used to have to sit in the front of the car because the clubhouse was next to the targets.
Right.
So I had to sit in the car for like hours. I remember sitting in the front of the old MQ Patrol for hours, and as like a 4-year-old. Yep. That's an eternity.
So you've got a sister.
Yes, she was out shooting.
And she's older.
Yeah, 7 years.
So she's 7 years older than you.
Yes.
So there's a huge gap between them.
Yeah. Don't know what happened there.
What happened?
I don't know. It's them.
That's weird. So your sister's shooting.
Yep.
So she's shooting recurve, compound.
Recurve in the end of her career, if you can call it that. She went to compound, but no, she went to nationals in Perth and cleaned everything up in recurve.
Oh.
So yeah, she wasn't on the state team. So if you look in the records of the state photos, she's in a white tracksuit and everyone else is in the Adelaide Crows colours.
And that would be because she wouldn't have qualified for the state team.
No.
Because when you're in the country and you want to make a state team, and still to today probably, you've got to go through a whole bunch of qualifying events to make the state team. So it's not that they're best archers in the state team. You've actually got to you've got to do all this stuff to make the state team, even though you might be the best archer, and if you're in the country it's hard to get to these events. You might have to shoot in 10 events to be in the state team. So
especially back in those days, like travelling down the town was like a big deal, a big trip.
But it's still an issue for people in country areas to make a city team, even though it's a state team. Because it's not like people from the city have to go to the country to qualify for the shoots.
No.
Which would be kind of cool if it was the case. Like if you had 5 events and you had 2 in the country and 3 in the city, and make all the city people come out to the country, that'd kind of
it'd be good for
even
everyone.
it up. So your mum, your dad, your sister, and yourself are all shooting as a family, 4 of you. And then you moved to this club and you're all shooting?
So I don't know why it happened, but the Rocky River Archery Club moved to here and turned into the Mid-North Archers.
And was your mum on the committee at that stage or not?
I don't know, not on the committee, but
they were
heavily active.
So she was coaching people?
No, she didn't do much coaching. Dad did. So Dad explained to me back in the late 80s, it was really hard to get information. There was no YouTube or anything like that. So he actually did the coaching courses. So he'd travel to Adelaide and get coaching courses so he could actually learn how to set up a bow. There was nothing. There was nothing around. So so they had a bit of a steep sort of climb. So I know the club was open when I was 7 because I had my 7th birthday at the Nationals in Hobart.
Oh.
Not Hobart, Launceston or Devonport. I remember.
So your parents took the kids?
Yeah, we all went over
to the Nationals.
And Mum competed and ended up coming 4th at the Nationals.
Okay.
But that was as a compound.
What year was that?
I was 7, so that's 91.
91.
I think. Around that mark.
Probably around the same time my mum was competing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the whole thing. Like, archery is a big family thing, and everyone tends to know everyone. It's kind of a bit weird, so to speak.
I remember compete. Carol, who's one of the most senior people shooting today, as a little tacker. Yeah, he used to go up and say hello to her as a little fella at Regency. Yep. Yeah, because I wasn't old enough to compete then. So I'd go there and just get told off by the judges for making too much noise.
That's right. And same thing when I came back to Adelaide when I was 20. So I used to shoot in Adelaide when I was 20. I come back here when I'm 50, and a lot of the people 30 years on are still there. Yeah. It's a sport that people get into and they sort of stay with for literally forever.
It niggles at you though, like there's a lot of archers that were around when I was a kid and they've gone away and come back as well.
Yes.
Like Andrew.
Yes, lots of people, especially kids, will drop out, have kids or find girls, get work, and they'll drop out, but then they'll come back in again when they're kind of an adult and got kids.
And that's what I did.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go a bit back over when I kind of met Greg. I'm going to say I met you about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago, Greg's getting into archery. And he's like, oh, I want to be good at archery. Can you give me some pointers and, tell me what I'm doing wrong? And he's up here shooting at Peary, trying to put in lots of arrows and practice in his horse float. And as time develops, Greg keeps getting better and better and better. And he comes down to a state championship, a clout shoot. I'm going to go over this. So I'm driving home and Greg's here. I need some advice and need some help on setting up here for clout. Now I was like, so you've got your arrows? No, I don't have my arrows set up. I've got to go and fletch them. The shoot's the next day.
I had to put points in and everything.
So he had to put points in. So we went to my house, put points into his arrows, and then we go to this field where I shoot clout, where I've shot clout videos, and we go and get sight scenes for Greg. Well, the next day we go and shoot this horrendous clout. It's a horrible day.
It's great.
And Greg literally shoots close to the state record for it, and shoots the highest score by a country mile from anyone.
207 points.
207 points. Not that he remembers exactly how much he was ahead, but he was that far ahead, and that was literally the first time he shot clout. Amazing. And that's the year Greg actually won the state championship.
Yes. Yep.
So I think that's, from his mum, his dad and sisters, and now a full grown-up adult winning the state championships. It's a full credit to him. And today, like, Greg's been working, he's been busy, and today he comes out and wins his mum's memorial shoot, with the highest score of the day. And you're going to say, what did he shoot? 880 something.
78.
878 out of 800 points. So you're not missing that many. I'm going, how'd you shoot at 40? He goes, oh, I shot at 9. I shot 1-9. It's like, yeah, I feel for you. So with that, thank you. It's a great club. And yeah, I've appreciated the time over 4 years. It's been really good. And thanks for watching.